Hello to all my fellow Shinobis and Kunochis out there. It's your one and only Shinobi Hiraji, and I'm back with another video. We're covering episode 246, 247, and 248 of Naruto Next Generation is not Boruto. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first episode, it started off where basically, Kagura's death, as you can tell, is very apparent for those who watched it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This man is not coming back to life. Um, Boruto activated his karma steel through rage, started putting the hands on Funamushi. He ended the fight with Rasengan. Funamushi then fell to his knees and retreated, so he did not die. You would expect, due to the fact that he has a karma and a Rasengan, that he died. But hey, it's anime, and it's an anime canon episode, so can't really expect much from that. After that, after he retreated, Boruto and his friends decided to check on Kagura for the last remaining breath he had, or whatever the case is. And yeah, he took his last breath. They said, "Hold on, we'll get you some help." They started healing his wounds, or whatever the case is. And he said, "Just go without me. Continue doing what you got to do." Everyone was crying around him about it. Telling Hebichiko, take the pass, but she said, "I can't do it because I tried to kill you." He said, "But you didn't, so just take it." You decided to stay and fight back. He told Kyoho, protect himself, make sure he get home safe, and yada yada yada. So that's what happened in the first part of the episode. We get into this scene to where we skip to Chojiro's ship, or they're on the water with Tenma and his brother Hisari, I believe that's his name. Hisari and Tenma was like, Chojiro's assistant was like, we're just gonna stand on standby or let them make a move or whatever the case is. And Chojiro's brother was like, not Chojiro's brother, Hisari was like, yeah, just let them stay. We'll wait till they make a move or whatever the case is, then we will strike them. And then Tenma wasn't falling for it, he wasn't agreeing with it, and then we got a backstory of Tenma. Within the backstory of Tenma, we basically seen that he was a lonely child. He didn't know his parents, and he grew up and he had basically he grew up, he didn't know his parents. He was escaping away from people. And then he ended up coming and finding the Funato soldiers and their family. Because the dad got onto the ship, or he got onto the island or whatever Tenma was on. Tenma was like, "Take me in," or whatever the case is, and ever since then, basically Tenma had just been with them, and all he wanted was his dad to acknowledge him throughout his life. So, after that, we get to a scene to where they have Kagura's. Oh no! We get to a scene where Boruto and them are back at the base. They basically was having a decision. Boruto was like, "We should go in and avenge Kagura," and Sarada was like, "Yeah." Kaoki was like, "Yeah, I agree with Boruto 100%." Whatever the case is, Sarada was like, "Yeah, we should, but we need to come up with a prep work plan," or whatever the case is. And everybody decided Sarada as a new captain. So basically, Kagura's spot, and while they're still there. With that being said, they decided this, and that's when they had their Kagura's funeral. Shortly after that, and then Boruto, Kawaki, and Sarada, I believe Mitsuki was there, I'm not sure, but they had a talk basically, and was asking Boruto if he can use his karma steel at will. Boruto basically, I think he can. At this time period, he probably can. I'm pretty sure it's a yes, but Boruto was beating around the bush with the question. He never really specifically said yes or no, but we're just gonna go and assume yes based off the readers. Based off the audience. After that, we get into a scene to where Tenma decides to take matters into his own hands after getting a message. They received the message via a hawk saying that Saren, their sister, body has been injured, so now they have to change plans. Now, due to them having to change plans, this angered Tenma, whatever the case is, and he took matters in his own hands. When it became nighttime, he decided to rush in and try to kill Chojiro, and Chodoro being the Mizukage. And he's actually pretty nice with it. The way he killed Tenma was nice. Basically, Chodoro and his people, even though it looked like Tenma had more, was still outmatched. They all died, and Tenma died as well. And was stupid how he went in there. Cause like, why would you go on the same ship as Chodoro? You really think you can fold Chodoro? You think Chodoro is not gonna do you stink? Like, this man was so calm with it the whole time. He didn't break a single sweat. Like, that's how clean Chodoro was. And this episode actually made me respect him more because of the way they portrayed him in this episode. So yeah, um, after that pretty much kind of concluded Boruto, like episode 264. So yeah, Tenma and Kagura died. Boruto is starting to learn the cycle of hatred, and that's going to take him down um maybe a dark path in the future. We're not sure, but we're going to see. Okay, following episode 247. So what we have is where we started at is basically Funamushi and his squadron, whatever you want to call it. He retreated back to the village like he said he was going to do. He started talking about his little revenge talking about he's going to get revenge on Boruto for hurting Lady Saren or whatever the case is. Blase blase. And it was like, this time we're not going to lose. His people were telling him we lost many comrades in the last battle. We can't just keep ambushing. Whatever the case is, we have to come up with a plan. So then we skip to the part to where we meet the villagers and Boruto and Sarada. Basically, Sarada's like, I hope the villagers okay, but nobody have any food in the village because they all were destroyed. So now they're trying to figure out what could they possibly do. They then get back to their base shortly after that scene and come up with a plan for everybody. Basically, they're talking about one person should guard the village or whatever the case is. Somebody else go look for food. But Sarada was like, yeah, it sounds nice, whatever the case is. Then they're talking about Kawaki, Boruto, and I forgot the other girl named Buntan. Yeah, Buntan. They're talking about we should ambush them and revenge them for Kagura or whatever the case is, because if not, then we're fighting for nothing. And I completely understand that. Masada was like, I understand that, but ever since I became the captain, I've been making sure no one dies, so we don't need to just go in the ambush and start up another fight with no actual plan, whatever the case is. And everybody calm down. And yeah, they don't want Kagura's death to be in vain. Everyone's sad about Kagura's death and is in pain about it. So yeah, we then get to the point where Hirasu or Hisaru, I think that's his name, he's speaking to his father about the plan. His father's upset with him. He then tells his father that Tenma dies, and he's like, okay, well, everyone keeps dying. Tenma's dead. Lady Sirens is in the constant. She's not able to recover, and you're the culprit for all of this. Like, you came up with this plan. You keep coming up with plans, and all our people keep dying and getting hurt from it. So, you know what? I'm going to take command now. And the only reason why I wanted you as the captain or the commander of the plans was because you helped rescue me out of prison. And I'm like, wow. His dad said that. I was like, wow, that kind of hurt, But it's clear that his dad acknowledged Tenma because that's all what Tenma wanted. And he got that when his dad asked about him. His dad asked him, excuse me guys, his dad asked him what was his last words, when he died. And I don't think he really said Tenma's last words. He just said Tenma died without listening to my orders. So Hisaru's upset, and I understood why, because the dad's not trying to listen to him. But technically it's Tenma's fault though, because he told you to stop and wait. Nobody wanted to listen. So his dad decided to go ahead and tell all the people to call off orders or whatever the case is. So then after that, we get to a scene to the men are doing that, but we don't see that just yet. We get to the next scene where we see them back at the village, whatever the case is, and they come up with a plan that they have no food. The villagers tell them, go ahead and eat, don't worry about us, wherever the case is. and Kawaki's looking around. He comes in and says, "You guys are idiots or whatever." You know how Kawaki is, and they're sacrificing themselves to feed us or whatever the case is. And then we got kids that pull up, and then Hibichiko give the kids her food and was like, "Don't worry about me, just go ahead and eat whatever the case is." And everybody else is agreeing with her. They're like, "We all, we don't have our appetites because the Kagura's dead." And they only have so much food for everybody that they can't eat themselves. So they just said, okay, let's go ahead and give it to the kids. And then after that, Hibichiko decides to run off, or whatever the case is, her being her. And then shortly after that, what's his name? Metal Leaf follows her. And then we get a Hibichiko backstory. Actually, nice backstory in my opinion. Basically, she looked at the kids and they reminded her of her. She said she was growing up in the trash heap or whatever the case is, and she was always good at stitching and sewing stuff. Not stitching, but sewing clothing and things like that. And then this lady just pulled up on her, take her clothes, and just threw them in the trash. No, not threw them in the trash, but ripped them up. So she lived in the trash heap, and she had to collect trash for money, whatever the case is. And then that's when Meadow asked her, "What made you want to become a shinobi?" Well, she said someone tried to fight her or whatever the case is, something like that. Someone tried to fight her and she had a pole with her and she stabbed him, and then the shinobi praised her for that. So ever since then, she believed her only talent was killing people. So that's all she's been doing, was killing people ever since. And Meadow, he's like, "Well, I don't think that's your only talent. I think you're very talented in sewing things." And she got happy whatever the case is, and she's like, a brat should never tell somebody what the talent is, or not that, but a brat should never try to comfort somebody or something like that. And then just shortly after this, we get Mitsuki's coming back from his run. I guess Mitsuki, he was on the lookout for enemies or whatever the case is. He came back. We haven't found any sight of them. And Sada's like, "Thank you, sorry for putting the burden on you." He says, "No problem. We do this what we do. We shinobi, whatever the case is." And everybody's mourning over Kagura, talking about something. "I wish he could see this," whatever the case is, because he appreciate it. And then we get to a scene where Kawaki and Denki and Wabe, Kawaki's like, "I'll go look for their fruits," because there's kids, the two pair of kids mentioned that there's fruits far away past the mountain. Kawaki's like, "Okay, I'll go look for them. I'll go with the kids and look for the fruits," whatever the case is. But then Denki, Sarada, and Wabe came into the conversation, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then they was like, well, Iwabe was like, "Well, stop yourself right there. I think it's okay if we go get the food," such as Iwabe and Denki. "I think it's okay if we go get the fruits for the kids because he basically told Kawaki he's a better fighter, so he should stay and protect the village due to that reason." We all know that. Good thing that Iwabe's acknowledging this, because he knows. So they go out and they basically like, this is the last, this is it's now or never type of thing. The enemies could be around at this point on. So then after that, we get into a scene where Boruto and Kawaki are both looking at Kagura's stone where he died at, or whatever the case is. Not necessarily where he died at, but that's where they're like holding this funeral type. That's where they held the funeral type thing at. So they're just there mourning for him. They're kind of upset that they couldn't really avenge him, but they said, basically they're saying next time he's not gonna get away. Kawaki was like, "You know what, Boruto, he's not getting away next time." Boruto was like, "Yeah, you already know that." "You know that, my dude. We're not finna let him escape this time. We're not doing that." We then get to a scene where Iwabe Denki was grabbing the fruits for the kids. They ended up getting surrounded by Funumushi soldiers. They both got conked in the back of their head, dropped the fruits, and then yeah, they got captured. That's what it looks like. And then shortly after that, we got Funumushi. He received the message from the dad, whatever the case is, to cancel the ambush. "We're not doing that." He said cancel, and then Funumushi, he got mad because I felt like he's in it for his own personal reasons, because he's like driven by rage so much that Seren, she's down and won't be able to recover, so basically she's dead. But he's driven by so much rage that he's not even listening, following orders. So he's like, "All right, F that. I'm tired of saying cancel the ambush," or whatever the case is. She put her life on the line for this, and I'm finna get my revenge. I swear I'm gonna kill Boruto, wherever the case is. When I put my hands on him, boom. episode 247 was ended. And the thing is, I realized I kept saying 264 for the last episode, but it's not 264, it's 247. But either way, 247 in my opinion was a good episode. I personally enjoyed watching this, even though it wasn't a fighting episode. It was still like, I still enjoyed seeing the characters interact with each other and talk. So yeah, I give it about an 8 out of 10 in my opinion. Still nice. Yeah, something just to enjoy. It didn't feel as rushed as 246. 246 felt very fast and rushed. So, but I like long episodes that where they talking, interacting, get some information. So yeah, 247 was good for me. On to 248. Episode 248. Let's just say that first of all, the animation on this episode was bad. Personally, I didn't like it. I would just go ahead and give you guys the rating I gave for 248. Like, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 due to the simple fact that they tried to do something with it, but with the animation, it was terrible in my opinion. Anyways, we start off with there's Meadow and Boruto behind this wall of logs, whatever the case is, Bhutan, Sarda, whatever the case is. Boruto is basically saying he doesn't know where Iwabe and Denki is, and he knows that Metal Lee is worried, but he should get some rest. And Metal Lee's like, "Don't worry, I'm not full of power. I don't need no rest." Whatever the case is, blase blase. We got two kids running up there, and after that, Metal Lee sees the kids and he gets worried. So the kids told the story to Kawaki and the rest of them, and found out Denki and Iwabe was captured. They helped the kids escape. That's how they showed up there. And Denki's having hope, and basically he's like, "Don't worry, I know them more than anybody else. I don't think they're dead. They'll be fine. Pretty sure they made it out alive. So all it takes is for us to just rescue them." And then we get back to the scene that avenging Kagura is important, but protecting the villages is more important too, because that's what Kagura wants. That's the whole point of him fighting. He's fighting to protect the village. That's what Sarada's telling Boomtown. So Boruto got all the villagers to like this it's like this bunker. It's not necessarily a bunker, but it's like underground. It's like under the village. So shortly after that, we got all of Funamushi's people. They're in the entrance of the village, where the case is. Sarada's looking after the people with her Sharingan, seeing how much people are there. And you got Boomtown's like, "I hate the serious stuff because you guys are always so tense before that fight. Loosen up a bit and actually wait down and calm down to the fight." And Sarada was like, "You know what? I can't do that. I thank you for your concern, but I can't do that simply to the fact that we just had Kagura die. I'm not trying to have another death." So that being said, I gotta get serious. So everyone's talking blase blase, talking about a plan, whatever the case is. Then we skip over to the scene where Funamushi and his people. It comes nighttime. I'm gonna say it's either nighttime or the next day. I'm not sure. But his people, his soldiers come and they start attacking, and then another fight happens for the village. After that, they're still fighting. You get Funamushi finally arrives, and he decides that, "Hey, I'm going to take on Boruto." Or Boruto and Kawaki decides, "I'm going to take them on by myself. You guys stay here and fight for the village." So with that being said, they're winning at first, but then they're getting overcrowded because the amount of soldiers are there. I believe it's too much for them to handle. They're outnumbered. So Boruto and Kawaki gets to fighting. And then his soldiers, he has this henchman who just bringing buckets of water to support his water style. If that's not the hardest meat rider ever in existence, I don't know who it is. But you're not getting any cool points for that. So relax. With that being said, Kawaki was getting pushed back by the water style, but Boruto eventually found out that due to it being water style, he can use lightning style to make it effective, and he can use that to harm Funamushi. He found out due to Suigetsu being the one who used something similar of the water style, or the technique he was using. So that being said, he found his weakness in Funamushi, and then he ends up getting pushed back. Funamushi then creates another jutsu with the help of the rain. They were waiting on the rain the whole time, and then that's when they finally found out what it was, when they revealed his plan. So he was waiting on the rain. He used the rain water to create a huge waterfish, no, not waterfish, a jellyfish jutsu. And one is stronger than the tornado jutsu he has. And he was wiping people out. He was wiping out houses. He even took out his own men, but accidents, of course. Um, and then you got Hebichigo, whatever the case is. She's using her needles to help. Boruto comes up with a plan. If I can get closer and whatever Singon, I can take him down. Hebichigo uses his needles. Metal Lee uses her needles. Metal Lee's trying to protect her. She eventually gets swiped and dies. Hibichigo just straight up dies. She gets swiped, dies. She was helpful. They did take him down, but then he got back up, and then he basically tried to kill he tried to kill Boruto in the same fashion Kagura got killed, but Buntan came in and saved Boruto. Stabbed Funimichi. He didn't die. I was mad, but they did get him like they planned on doing it. He did escape, so they couldn't do what they wanted. He did escape, but he's hurt badly. Shortly after this fight, Hibichiko dies, and then Metal Lee's upset. You know, Metal Lee's crying. I think, like I said, Metal Lee had a thing with Hibichiko, so they did have they gave her a little grave or whatever, like how they give Kagura. It's in the same fashion. They have the grave side by side. Hibichiko's dead. End of. They go visit her grave, whatever the case is. End of 248. Like I said, 7 out of 10. Animation was it was bad in my opinion. I seen what they were trying to do, but it just I just couldn't get by it. But it was a decent episode. It was a good episode. I like the fighting, and I like the little detail they try to put in before the machine, the soldiers, and how they were bloodthirsty. But yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Head out, GD Shinobi signing out. Peace.